Because trade connects and connections unite, the world is such a small place after all. To test this hypothesis, we are on a world tour interviewing ambassadors of every nation. We will talk about trade, business, entrepreneurship, and the mindset of the government and citizens. Now, if I had to go on a world tour, I would be on a yellow caravan. So, every ambassador we set a play date with will be playing some Lego with us. At Small World 1, the whole world will get together in a celebration of trade, connections, unity, business, and entrepreneurship. This will be symbolized by the yellow caravan we will all construct together. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're in the Embassy of Nepal in Brussels. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
If you can tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Myself, I have been ambassador here just more than 2 years right now, and ambassador for Belgium, also concurrently accredited to Netherlands and Luxembourg, also the head missions to European Union. Yeah, so it's a quite busy job actually.
Nepal, as a business person, it always comes to mind because of Mount Everest. You always want to think, I'm going to conquer the world, I'm going to conquer Mount Everest. And we always think of Mount Everest, but that's a big part of your culture, heritage.
Of course, we are very proud of having Mount Everest top of the world in Nepal, and as you know that. But it's not only. Sometimes I also struggle with many people I met that they have the stereotype of thinking that Nepal has only the mountain. It's not that, because Nepal has many things. We have the mountains. We are proud of having those mountains, and as you know that we have 10 highest mountain. That means the peak in the world. Also, we have the middle hill and the beautiful valleys, rivers, lakes, and in the southern plain we have the plain areas bordering with India. So we have many things, but of course it also culturally is there are some different cultures we have, and so which we are very proud of.
As a Belgian person, you go to Nepal, you see the Mount Everest, right? But you think afterwards, I want to do some business here.
Yeah.
What would be the interesting businesses to look at?
Business-wise, as you know that is because I always repeat one saying which is in Flemish that unknown is unloved. And so what I feel during my 2 and more years as ambassador here, that there is a very little knowledge among the business persons in Belgium, also in Netherlands and Luxembourg, of course. That's why we are just giving the more information to the business people that Nepal has a lot, even in terms of business. And business-wise, yes, of course, as you know that Nepal's
especially for the renewable energy, because I know I was looking at some projects maybe 3-4 years back from the funding development banks of Asia as well as Europe. It's quite interesting.
Of course, yes. In renewable energy, you can see that Nepal has the one of the highest potentials in renewable energy, especially in hydropower energy. Similarly, we are also focusing on the solar powers, also the wind power as well. So that's
Nepal is enough internally so that it can be a net exporter of energy, can't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah, because we are quadruple, just in 1-2 years we are quadrupling the total energy which we are producing, especially from the hydropowers. Similarly, there is a lot potentialities to produce, and which can be sold to India, also Bangladesh and other regions.
And those regions normally bordering you are the less developed part of their countries. So those regions need more power anyway than what the
internally as well. So Nepal's even some months, years ago, we had also load shedding. That means our energy was not enough, and that's why we also focus to produce more energy in Nepal, and that means internally market is also growing. We are going to industrialize the country, and that also we also need the energy. Similarly, we can also produce science. sell to other parts of India also. We are also talking about the selling energy to Bangladesh as well, and so we are also talking about the transmissions to China. So Nepal has a lot to offer actually in terms of energy to the region.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Talking about the region, in a business, sometimes you get stuck between a really strong supplier and a really strong customer, and you have to figure out where you actually stand. Geopolitically, Nepal is in a situation where it's between India and China.
Uh-huh.
What can businesses learn from how the government of Nepal is addressing this situation?
Yes, yeah, you are right that we border with India and China, and this is the largest markets in the world. That's why I always say that Nepal, yes, it's a difficult positions in one sense, geopolitically, but in the meantime, there is a geopolitical dividend we can enjoy because Nepal's internally we have the 29 million people. It's a big market, growing market actually, and because middle income family are also growing in Nepal too. Similarly, with India and China, and this is the largest markets in the world, and increasing market of course. All the countries around the world they are competing to see those markets, but we are bordering with those countries. That is the benefits for us. And again, we have these arrangements, trade arrangement with India and China. That way, we can also produce the things and sell to India with a duty-free and quota-free. Of course, there are certain negative lists. With China as well, China has also given us the duty-free for almost 8,000 products, which can be sold to China, sent to China without duty-free again. That's why. And we can also enjoy that sort of benefits. Yes, that where our government is focusing on that. That's why we also give the message to all the investors, business person around the world, of course, including in European countries, that there is a lot the potentials to invest in Nepal, and that can be exported to the region, also to European Union.
So basically, you're just seeing the advantages of the situation, that how can, because of that, you can trade better and faster.
Yeah, that's why we are always trying to because Nepal is a landlocked country, and so basically we trade through India. That's why we talk about the trade facilitations, physical facility improvement of physical facilities, and then we try to make our the old trading systems more efficient, more effective. That's where government is also focusing. Mm-hmm. Of course, we also talk with the India and other countries, and say, in order to have those facilities in place, so that Nepal also can export the things. Similarly, being a landlocked country, we are also focusing on the service sectors, also low volume and high cost of products. Mm-hmm. Some products. That's why, because of being a landlocked country, that is also essential, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So really high value added stuff.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One way Nepal is similar to Japan is both have a decreasing population. The reason is different. In Nepal, the reason is very heavy net migration rate away from the country. Right. How is the government dealing with that or seeing that?
Yeah, because as you know that Nepal has a very young population, so which is very good for the demographic dividend. Yeah, so almost 56% of the total population, very young populations. Because in the past we have the political instability. Because of the political instability, we really couldn't focus on the economic development. And when we don't have the economic development, then there are less and less opportunity for employment, for the industrializations, and that's why those young populations, they could try to find some ways, and that way our lot of young people, they would like to have employment anywhere in the world, because after all this is the age of globalization. That's why our almost 2 to 3 million people, especially young population, they are employed in Middle East, in Malaysia, in other countries in the regions. But our government think that this is for these times, this is good that it creates the employment for those people in abroad, and then we are trying to manage the foreign employment. In the meanwhile, and we try to industrialize the country to have more opportunities for the people in the country, so that people will come and invest with their skill, with their technology, with their knowledge, also with the capital. That's why we are very much hopeful that those people who are abroad right now, they will come, and then this will be not the brain drain, it will be a brain gain in the days to come. That's the government is focusing on that.
Around 18 years ago, there was the assassination in the palace when 14 members of the royal family were shot, right? And Nepal before then, or until that moment, was a monarchy. And after that, it's changed. Businesses also have a similar situation where there's one event and the form of governance completely changes. What can they learn from what happened in Nepal when that situation comes to them?
When you talk about the political problems in Nepal, yes, and we admit, we agreed that there was a political problems in the past, and then we also switched from the monarchy systems to republic system. That's why I was just referring that we had the political instability in the past. But as you know that right now we have the political stability from last year, and we had the 3 tiers of elections, from the federal parliament, also provincial parliament, also local level elections, and that was quite difficult, but we succeeded amazingly. And many countries, friendly countries, they also appreciated what we are achieving politically. That's why that is important. Secondly, I would tell you that despite the difficulties we were going through politically, and still we focus on business, we focus on the continuation of the policy. When we talk about the business environment in Nepal, you can see that from the 1990 we changed a lot of regulations, acts, and then we liberalize our economy, we linked our economy to the global system, and that way we reform our policies, we change our acts and regulations. But overall, and there is a political continuation, the policy continuation is there. But of course, when there is a change of the government, and their businesses might be a bit scared of going there and investing there. That's why this is the high time for all the investors and the business people to look into the country, and then immense potentialities we offer recently. By the way, I will also add here that in view of this fact into considerations, the government is organizing a Nepal Business Summit in March 29 and 30. And we have asked and requested all these potential investors from around the world to come to Nepal, and so that.
But is it going to be again in 2020?
But
if it is, then it'll be interesting. Send me the details, because a lot of these people would be interested.
Maybe because this year we have already planned that, but based on the experience, the government may think again that how we can give more information to the people and who might be interested in, and then it depends on
what sector and this and that and all of that. Governments learn a lot from businesses. But what can businesses learn from government, and specifically from the government of Nepal?
I think business can learn, yes, of course. Firstly, Nepal, we have been focusing on all the ways in order to provide more facilities, more incentive to the businesses,
But also to the people. Like,
Yeah, we would like to learn, of course, because
Yeah.
now we would like to listen to their comments, to
Yeah.
their feedbacks. This is that. Another thing is that they can also, if they have the difficulty, they can talk to us, as in the embassy, also talk to the government directly, indirectly, and so that we also learn from them, and also we will improve the systems in place.
so from a business perspective, that's like really listen to your employees all the time. Because you're citizens.
Yeah.
From a government's perspective, what a citizen is.
Yeah.
From a business's perspective, an employee is also.
Yeah.
Citizens paying your taxes, no? The
Yeah.
employees bringing in the revenue.
Yeah. Yes.
So two biggest takeaways for me.
Yeah.
One, if you're stuck between a strong supplier and strong customer, just make the best of the situation, because there's a reason you're there.
That is, yeah.
And the other
That
one
also
is-
creates a immense opportunity.
Absolutely.
To go to Nepal and to
Yeah.
invest in Nepal, to trade with Nepal, and to bring the things to other,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
markets.
Absolutely, and the other, just really listen to your team and employees all the time.
That is also essential. So we would like to continuously improve our systems, and so, but the main thing is that we would like to have a more investment in Nepal, and from the bigger project to the small project, even from the agriculture, agro-forest.
And if you listen to the investors all the time, if you have that mentality of always listening to your people,
Yeah.
your people will tell you, those are the people we need to listen to, and automatically you listen to the right people to get that stuff done.
That is essential. That's why we
Yeah.
encourage any investor to come to us and
Yeah.
to talk, and then where we need to improve, we will like.
Do we need visas to go to Nepal as a Belgian?
Yeah.
We need visas?
You need. It is a wonderful.
Now to something even a lot more fun, Lego. Great.
Okay, very good, and to have you here, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and to talk about the Nepalese business, and also the opportunities in Nepal. So thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you.
After all, it's a small